when I first got into this industry, I bought into a mentorship program that I thought was supposed to be teaching me the difference between staffing and recruiting. What I actually learned was a lot about split fees, but I didn't actually learn the difference between staffing and recruiting from the mentorship program. I actually had to start the process, and then in the process, I kind of learned the language. And once I started learning the language, I'm like, okay, so people are using staffing and recruiting interchangeably, but they are not the same and they don't serve the same purpose. I think the main thing that confused me in the beginning was who was paying me. I was trying to learn how to do recruiting through split fee platforms. So because I jumped straight to split fee platforms, I didn't really understand who was exactly paying me and what exactly I was being paid for. Once I learned who was paying me when it came to split fee platforms, I learned that long term it would not be beneficial for me to continue to do split fees and recruiting. The advice I feel like I got way too soon. It wasn't necessarily wrong advice, it was just too soon for me because I didn't know what was going on, was to build a team and bring people in who would recruit for me. Because I didn't know really anything about the process, I didn't have proximity to the process, it was very hard and I wasted a lot of money in the beginning trying to figure out how to navigate a team on top of learning everything at the same time. Because I started out backwards like that, where I pretty much brought a team in to do things for me and I was trying to teach them in real time as I was learning, kind of took out me doing some of the work. So a lot of my uncertainty came in when it came to like all of the ideas that I was having in terms of growing my agency. I wasn't that confident in it because I didn't really do the work that I was trying to get them to do at first. So that's why I'm like really big on being a boss and a CEO and leading people and bringing in teams of people to delegate things, bring people in until you've done all the things that you want to delegate yourself first. Throughout the process, I realized that I didn't have control over really anything going through split fee platforms. I had to wait for the clients or the companies to post the jobs on the platforms, and then once I found and did all this work for sourcing candidates for the position, I have to wait for an answer or wait for them to decide yes or no on if they can get to the next step of interviews, and then there's like multiple interviews before you get to the final decision, and then when you finally get to the final decision, that could take however long. So I realized that there was literally no control over my money in terms of how fast I could get paid when going through split fee platforms, because essentially what you're doing is partnering with someone else who actually has the contract to help them fill it or fill the role. I just feel like I was wasting a lot of money on like tools and resources to try to source candidates for these roles just for them to ultimately get shut down or receive a declination letter or be declined on the position altogether. And so in terms of that, there was a lot of time wasted, a lot of resources, a lot of money. And so that is one reason why in the beginning I wouldn't push for like, unless you are just like, I want to be a recruiter, I don't want to deal with like overhead of insurances and workers comp and employee of record, payroll tax, all that stuff. Unless you're just so hell-bent on that, then I would say to put in the work and put in the time to be a staffing agency, because that's where you get longevity and that's where you can make the most money and have the most control. So when it comes to staffing and recruiting, it's not about which one is better, it's more so about which one works for your process and how you're thinking long term in terms of your legacy in your agency. This is exactly what we'll be unpacking in week 1 of the Legacy Staffing Collective. Not trying to push people to start or push people to choose, but making sure that we're all aligned, choosing the right lane based off of the right information. If you would like to have more information about the Legacy Staffing Collective, I will be live next week, Monday. Go ahead and drop a legacy in the comments and I will personally send you the link.